G'day folks, and welcome to this unboxing of Mythic Mischief. This is a game that I pre-ordered. I think it was on GameFound.com. It is designed by Max Anderson, Zach Dixon, and Austin Harrison. It is a 1-4 player game, plays in 45 to 90 minutes for ages 14 and up. I liked the looks of this game when it was on GameFound. It seemed to me, I haven't played this yet, just about to unbox it, it seemed to be a bit of a mix between perhaps Santorini, for those of you who have played Santorini, a bit of an abstract game, with kind of a witches and wizards type of theme. You'll see here you choose your faction: wizards, vampires, Frankenstein's monsters, zombies, witches, ghosts, or trolls. You grab your board. Each faction has unique abilities that will be upgraded over time. You enter the library. You navigate and influence an ever-changing maze of bookshelves and clutter. So you actually move the furniture around the library. You need to be aware of the Tomb Keeper. Alter the path of the Tomb Keeper to catch your opponent without getting caught yourself. You can play blitz mode or tournament mode, and this is kind of what it looks like. So yeah, it looked like a kind of fun, very interactive, up to 4-player game where you have your faction, and you are moving the furniture, trying to stay away from the Tomb Keeper, whilst kind of trying to force your opponents into difficult situation. And that, to me, that's where it was reminiscent of Santorini. For those of you not familiar, I'll just get up and grab Santorini. This is Santorini. It's one of our favourite games in the family. A very simple, abstract game with a lot of variability because of all these different gods that you can play. I absolutely love this game. It's very, very cheap. When I say cheap, inexpensive. Great sort of components inside. A lot of replayability. I would say that this is probably the game that I've played the most, because I sit down with my kids to play this and we play it over and over and over again, like a dozen times. So when I saw this, and it was reminiscent of Santorini, I backed it, and it just arrived today. Super, super sturdy, thick box, really nice art. Look at that. How often do you see the inside of a game box printed? Let's have a look at what we've got here. The Rules of Misconduct. It's a 50-page rulebook, but you've got a page for each of the factions with their abilities. Rules for solo mode. Yes, it can be played with one player. Variants. And then you've got about 32, 33 pages of rules. But look at those illustrations. Full-page illustrations and summaries. So that looks very, very nice. That's a beautiful rulebook. It's tiny. It's what's this? A5 size, but glossy colour, heavily illustrated. Just as you can see there, very nice colours. So I'll be reading this almost immediately. There's a how to play video at mythicmischief.com/play. Summary of the components and so forth. You play as a faction, their set of abilities. You can upgrade your faction's abilities throughout the game by collecting powerful tombs from around the library. The winner is the first team to score 10 mischief points, or the team with the most mischief points when the Tomb Keeper finishes returning all their tombs after lunch. Tomes. Maybe I'm mispronouncing that a little bit. So yeah, a couple of pages for setup. Let's have a look through the other components. All right, so we have here the faction boards. Now, again, this is the pre-order Kickstarter version on GameFound. I don't know if retail will be exactly the same, but you can see how you can upgrade your movement, your warping, your shifting, that looks like, that's shifting furniture, your distraction. That's interesting. I assume that applies to the Tomb Keeper. Teleport ability, move a wizard to any open space. And portals. Once per turn, place one portal under a wizard. Portals act as adjacent spaces. That's just the top faction. As I said, there are 7 different factions in that pack. There's an interesting little token. Well, there's 2 interesting little tokens. There's one of the witches expansions, special abilities, characters, That's in there. I have, unfortunately, that's been caught on the edge and bent a little bit. Trolls expansion, the Ghost expansion. So yeah, I went pretty much all out because this looked really cool, and I thought, give us all an opportunity to play with the different factions, enhance the replayability of this game. Here we see, it looks like the map board of the library and some punch tokens, all within the one sealed bag. And then we have the factions, and these look so cool. Let's have a look here. We have Frankenstein's monsters here in green. So you have 3 miniatures. These look like the bookshelves. And then, yeah, below that, these are the tomes that you're collecting. Little books, little green books in the matching player colour. So the bookshelves look very cool. And as I said, they go on the game board. And you can manipulate them to block certain paths and open pathways for yourself and block the pathways of your opponent. That's Frankenstein's monsters. I'll have to open that bag and fix it up. And we have here, these look to be the witches, perhaps. We have here yellow, which look to be ghoulish. The ghouls tend to like skateboards by the looks of it. In yellow. In pink. Now these are the witches. So they may be the wizards. And these are the witches. Again, very nice miniature art there. And they're pretty big too. I don't have a ruler handy, but let's say about 2 inches tall. We have the ghosts, I believe trolls. These are the trolls. Let's have a good look at those. The grey trolls. The red genie-like figures. I don't know what they are. They kind of look like genies. They've got sort of ghostly tails. Or sort of genie-like tails. Again, 30 plastic containers, and blue, they look like vampires. They've got fangs. So we have the vampires. So the recommended age is 14 and up. As I said, I bought this to play with my kids. My wife has a deck of cards. I don't know what that is. These may be the solo deck, perhaps, for... I don't know what that is. Let's figure that out in a moment. Lots of little cubes. That's the Tome Master. He's in a bag. Let me crack this open and give you a good look at him, because he looks pretty cool as well. Carrying his sort of backpack of tomes. That's a nice miniature. And then another one. Oh, there's 2. 2 identical miniatures. I said that one looks exactly the same as well. Okay, so let's have a better look at the rule. That's a nice sturdy container. The Tomb Keeper. Okay, so the cards show, the numbers show the path he will take. I'll move to 1, then to 2, and lastly to 3. This amount shows the amount he will move per turn. Okay. So he'll catch any student in their path during the move, and the student will be removed from the library. They'll always take the quickest path while headed to its destination. Okay, so he'll move around. Cluttered spaces take additional movement points. You place mythics. The first team places each of their mythics in a space in the library. On your turn, you move. Each mythic has a ability. Move shelves. Move the Tomb Keeper 1 space towards any of your mythics, so you can distract that Tomb Keeper, remove him, and then perhaps block him off. And yeah, what other games are like that? There are a few older games that have this kind of move and block type mechanism. Corridor is another good game that I've got that is reminiscent of that. It's another abstract game. So this is kind of, it's got those abstract mechanics, but with a very nice theme on top of it, attached to your faction and the idea of moving around a library. It's sort of a step up in complexity from Santorini, but I like the separate player faction abilities and things like that it seems to have. The Tomb Keeper phase, the cleanup phase, you can boost your abilities. Okay, give you more speed, things like that. Here's an example. Okay, wizards versus the Frankenstein's monsters. So a 3-page example there. Once the Tomb Keeper reaches the third destination on the before lunch card, they will use the remaining movement towards the crest. And the game is over, blah, blah, blah. First time play. You can ignore the legendary ability. So that's it. Yeah, there's a blitz mode there. And then, as I said, the summary of your factions. This is Frankenstein's monsters. Some bit of flavour for the 3 characters you've got. You've got their special abilities. So the zombies infect, or they can toss furniture, or they can actually push the Tomb Keeper away through their stench move. That's nice. The wizards can warp, they can shift furniture, they can teleport. Let's see what else some of the other factions do. The monsters, they throw miniatures to adjacent space. So this is This is where Santorini. There are gods in Santorini that toss figures around. In Santorini, you're building buildings. In Mythic Mischief, you are moving furniture around. So yeah, they barge furniture, which kind of rotates at 90 degrees, or they intimidate. Neighbouring enemy will move 2 spaces. So these guys actually move enemy forces towards that Tomb Keeper. And they have the after lunch special trap. After starting after lunch, you may drop a trap token. So this looks very exciting. Keen to get the family and mess with them. Mess with their gangs. Let me try to, if I can easily get this. I imagine they'll all be very similar, but with their unique abilities on these faction cards. So I showed you the wizards earlier, the zombies with their move, their infect, so they're all different, reflecting their different abilities. And I guess, what are we doing here? We're increasing either the strength of the throw or the special ability, or the number of special abilities we can take. Vampires, again, all these abilities are sort of summarized here, and then you get, I mean, if they're expansions, you get your own little guide. I'm guessing that goes with the witches, yeah. So here's their token for after lunch special. Once per turn, drop Bewitch under a witch. Anyone on this space cannot be moved off of it by an opponent. Okay. The trolls and the ghosts, and they have their haunt. Enemy mythics cannot move through a space or occupy a haunted space. Okay, that's pretty cool. And yeah, they all have that colour. Mythic Mischief. That's a mouthful. Mythic Mischief. So, folks, I might try and get some videos of this. We didn't open these cards either, so let's have a quick look through these. Again, these show the variable paths that the Tomb Keeper will take. And they seem to have 4 colours, so I wonder if that's one for each player, perhaps. And then a summary of what you do. So, folks, that is Mythic Mischiefs. Just arrived today on pre-order from GameFound. I will try to convince the family and yeah, get back to this as soon as possible. Thanks all, and take care.